This is a
Hi,
demonstration
my
of
name's
Flip for
Stephen
Mac.
Cook, and this is question 1. If we only present mathematics as a static set of isolated procedures and facts that need to be memorised rather than understood, there is little chance that students will develop deep understanding and feel confident in their mathematical ability, although I would view mathematics as logical and connected. The notion that mathematics is connected is a reason why we now teach the big ideas of mathematics. The idea of making
This is a
connections
demonstration
is
of
apparent in
Flip
many
for Mac.
definitions of big ideas. For example, Charles defines a big idea as a statement of an idea that is central to learning mathematics and links or connects many mathematical understandings into a whole. Seaman and her colleagues claimed that multiplicative thinking is critically important. A big idea as it underpins almost all of the work in a number of algebra for the middle school students. Multiplicative thinking connects
This
many
is a
other concepts
demonstration
as
of
shown
Flip
in
for
the
Mac.
concept map in my portfolio. Multiplicative thinking is only the name of the big idea. The essential mathematic meaning is expressed by Jacobs and Willis as they state multiplicative thinking is indicated by a capacity to work flexibly with concept representations and strategies of multiplication and division as
This
they
is a
occur in a wide range of
demonstration of
contexts
Flip for Mac.
and to communicate effectively in a variety of ways. Charles explains that it is important for teachers to understand big ideas as though the foundation of one's content and knowledge. Big ideas are essential to develop deep understanding as they connect ideas. By using big ideas, mathematics becomes connected to all aspects of student lives, rather than an isolated set of facts to be memorized and reproduced for exams. Seaman
This
and
is a
colleagues believe that
demonstration
focusing
of
on the
Flip for
links
Mac.
between big ideas strengthens students' understanding. Using big ideas increases student motivation, promoting memory, and creating autonomous learners. Charles and Seaman suggest that big ideas are also important when creating coherent and useful curriculums, as big ideas articulate the most important mathematical idea to be learned. Without big ideas, curriculums are crowded documents with no succinct explanation
This is a
of how to
demonstration
teach
of Flip for
ideas
Mac.
and strategies to students. The recent drafting of the new Australian curriculum provided the opportunity to include big ideas. However, Seaman and her colleagues pointed out that it is not the case of the multiplicative thinker. There is no connection of ideas that are repeated. In addition, model of multiplication is all that is taught to support deep understanding of factors and indices. How are teachers supposed to understand and teach multiplicative thinking if it's not
This is a
represented
demonstration
in the
of
Australian
Flip for
curriculum?
Mac.
This is worrying, as Clark and his colleagues discovered that many teachers do not fully understand the important big ideas that underpin mathematics topics. As a teacher, I need to understand the big ideas of mathematics and connect new ideas. Seaman states that it is imperative that the key ideas and strategies that underpin the transition from additive to multiplicative thinking are clearly articulated and understood by teachers and curriculum developers. Charles states that effective teachers
This
know
is a
the big ideas and
demonstration
understand
of
the
Flip
different
for
concepts
Mac.
and skills students need to know and acquire at each grade. I believe that I have achieved this through my program in assessment activities created for developing multiplicative thinking. As in my portfolio, I have started off by having activities for the Year 3 students, then building it up for the Year 4 students,
This is a demonstration of Flip for
and then
Mac.
finally having work and activities for Year 5 students.
This is a demonstration of Flip
Question
for
2.
Mac.
Marilyn Burns described how she has changed the way she monitors and assesses students' understanding. This rapid transition has occurred because educators such as Burns have realised that far too long traditional mathematics assessment has been too narrow and one-sided to give an authentic account of what students know, understand and can do. Effective assessment incorporates student reasoning into both written assignments and classroom discussion. Furthermore, Burns believes that assessment
This is a
should be an ongoing
demonstration
aspect
of
of
Flip for
classroom
Mac.
discussion. I will now discuss 4 points that Burns make about effective assessment of mathematical learning. First one is effective assessment includes questioning students, even when their answers are correct. Burns explains how her relevance on discovery teaching led her to wrongly believe that if students gave the correct answer, then they understood the mathematical concepts. Consequently, Burns never really knew what her students were thinking, or if they had the
This
correct,
is a
correct
demonstration
answer,
of
masked
flip for
incorrect
Mac.
ideas or misunderstandings. The change in approach is shared by Zevenberg, who believes that the answer is only the beginning. The key to a question and probe students, even when their answer are correct, in order to uncover their misunderstandings. During my diagnostic assessment, I probed students when they had reached the right answer. Burns suggests asking students for more than one strategy to solve a problem. For example, during my diagnostic assessment,
This is a
one student
demonstration of flip
came
for
up with the
Mac.
algorithm 8 times 4 equals 32. I then asked if there was another way they could come up with the answer provided. He said 4 plus 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 4. Burns believes that asking students to offer more than one way to arrive at an answer provides insight into their thinking. This is important because students need to develop many strategies to become flexible in their mathematical thinking.
This is a
Number
demonstration
2 is an
of flip
effective
for Mac.
assessment lets students set their parameters. Burns says that it is good for assessing understanding. This may include allowing students to create their own problems. For example, the work samples in my diagnostic assessment in Appendix 4. I have 4 different students asking different mathematical problems and then sharing them with the class. This gave me information about their comfort level and their skill with multiplication.
This is a demonstration of flip for
In the
Mac.
way that assessment is linked to instruction, with Burns believes is essential. Number 3, Burns states that effective assessment allows students to keep track of their reasoning. One way to do this is to get students to write journals where they express their thoughts, especially when ideas are complex. Booker and his colleagues agree that journal writing is essential in building mathematical communication abilities. Through journals, students build an ability to read and write about mathematics.
This is a
Burns suggests
demonstration
that this
of
can be
flip for
done at
Mac.
the end of math to describe what they learnt. For example, in the activities I have on page 10 of my portfolio, I have students explaining arrays in their journal, like so. Number 4 is effective assessment
This is a
includes classroom
demonstration
discussion,
of flip for Mac.
where the children. Oh, sorry. Effective assessment includes classroom discussion, where teacher asks the students to explain their reasoning correct or not. For example, during the diagnostic assessment, I asked students how they worked out their answer to the question. There are 8 chickens and 4 cows on the farm. How many legs are on the farm? One student said counted
This is
how
a
many legs a chicken
demonstration
had,
of flip
and then
for
how many
Mac.
a cow had, and multiplied them both and added them together. Further ideas during my discussion given by Burns include small group discussions and calling on my students who don't normally volunteer and asking students to restate their answers.
This is a demonstration of flip for
Question
Mac.
3. It is a teacher's responsibility to cater lessons to the individuals or groups of students. Differentiation by task relates to students doing different tasks with a common theme that will further their understanding. This enables the students to be challenged in their learning and for teachers to also be challenged. Jones and Allibone state that tasks can be tailored to individual students. I
This
see
is
this
a
could lead to problems
demonstration of flip
as it's
for
stated
Mac.
later in the article when it comes to progression of the topic. If students are not learning at the same rate, then this will cause a problem for future lessons, and the students who are higher learners will become bored and disengaged, while the students who are left behind will become frustrated and disheartened with the subject. Teachers who use this tool of education have to be prepared for many different lessons and have them planned for many different levels that students may be at.
This
For
is a
example,
demonstration of flip
appropriate
for Mac.
differentiation suggested by Jones is giving more able students extended tasks related to the lesson. For example, in a lesson plan I created for multiplicative thinking, An extension was offered for more able students, where they are giving different materials, such as a die and cardboard, to create their own math game that required participants to use their multiplication or division skills. As you can see here,
This is a
an activity
demonstration of
extension.
Flip4Mac.
For multiplicative thinkers, where students were asked to find as many problems and solutions using the numbers 2, 3, and 4. As James suggests, I've used a mixture of higher and lower end questions in my multiplicative thinking activities. For example, James explains that lower end questions ask the students to paraphrase or explaining the meaning of the words. For example, in the
This is a
activities, I ask
demonstration
students to
of
write using
Flip4Mac.
mathematical words, an array that I used in my journal. As you can see, it's pictorial representations and words used down the bottom. Using differentiation rating questions helps the students
This is a
who are
demonstration
at different
of
levels to
Flip4Mac.
each other. I ask students to write mathematical words. By using these questions, I'm focusing on the acquisition of knowledge. On the other hand, higher level questions allow for developing application of ideas and concepts, such as how many trikes and bikes did John see in my question. Furthermore, higher level questions involve developing synthesis or creating thinking, such as how can you check whether your answer is correct.
This is a demonstration
Differentiation
of
task
Flip4Mac.
also helps students to grab a greater knowledge of the subject by understanding different topics.
Of Flip4Mac.
I see games as an excellent tool for mathematics, for teachers to use as an introduction to a particular topic. My portfolio has an influence of games in it because I see how games can hold the attention of students. As a teacher's aide in my school, I have a high level of students who are disruptive. These games, mathematical games, often get them involved
This is a
in both learning
demonstration of
and participation
Flip4Mac.
in the classroom. In my portfolio, I've used the game Bingo, or as I call it, Mingo, which is a mix between maths and bingo, to introduce the concept of multiplicative thinking. I use this because, as John Goff states in an article, that bingo is not in fact a game, but if you have the number and then you tick it off, then the game of bingo, you use your own numbers. So therefore it is a game.
This is a
In Bingo, you choose
demonstration
your own
of
numbers.
Flip4Mac.
As your mathematical understanding of the game increases, you can choose the numbers that are more likely to appear. This is only one example of a maths game that can be used to help students grasp the concept of mathematics. Games of luck don't seem to be too mathematically correct and help students because they simply offer the students
This is a demonstration of Flip4Mac.
a game to no mathematical intent in the game. Games of skill and choice, these games are much more appropriate for students because they, after a while, they understand the game and can learn how to use the game more effectively to their advantage. As Goff states in his article, games can be dangerous in classrooms.
This is a demonstration of Flip4Mac.
Used just to placate the students or to entertain the students. The games must have some sort of mathematical basis behind them. The best games that Goff thinks that should be used in the classroom are games that they use when they're not in a maths class, when they think of time to fill.
This is a demonstration of
If they don't
Flip4Mac.
think they're using their math skills, but they are, this is a good game for them to use. When he states that games become dangerous, students take it the wrong thing from the lesson. In my portfolio, I've tried to use games as a tool to introduce a topic, but not overtake the topic. That is why I've used Mingo as the main game as the main lesson plan.
This is a demonstration of Flip4Mac.
Games can be used to good effect in a classroom, but should not take over.
This is a demonstration of Flip4Mac.
Reasoning. Reasoning as displayed in the Australian curriculum involves analysing, proving, evaluating, explaining, inferring, justifying, and just generalising. These techniques are all invaluable tools for students, not only as in mathematics, but as they form
This
a
is a
basic understanding
demonstration
of the strands that are to be
Flip4Mac.
taught in most other areas of education. If these areas are met in mathematics, then the student will have a greater understanding and they will be able to put their ideas into practice. In my portfolio, I have used some activities that will require these reasoning techniques. The first activity is with reasoning skills. Students have to look for different number patterns on a 100 chart when counting by 3, 4, 5, and 6.
This is a demonstration of
When
Flip4Mac.
they find their patterns, they highlight, circle, or in some way put markers on these areas. Students estimate, and then they multiply 3, 4 digit numbers by 1 digit numbers. Another question they were given in another activity in my portfolio was an example of a football team, St Kilda, scoring 112 points to win a game of football.
This is a demonstration of
As we know, one
Flip4Mac.
goal is worth 6 points and a behind is worth 1. What might the score have been? This question asks the student an open-ended question that may have many different answers, and it will involve them analysing and explaining to the other class members or teacher how they come up with their answer, whether it be a lot of goals and not many behinds, or the other way around. There are endless
This
amounts.
is a demonstration
There is an
of
endless
Flip4Mac.
amounts of ideas and answers to this question. And ask all other areas involved in reasoning. The final task that I asked in my portfolio uses reasoning skills. And this is that I asked the students to create a chocolate box that's designed for 48 chocolates. It could be 1 layer or 2 layers. This can be done with students' reasoning skills
This is a demonstration of
and
Flip4Mac.
auditing skills coming to effect in this task. As you can see, my final question is for Year 5 students. And by this stage, they should be able to figure this out for themselves using multiplicative thinking. Thank you for taking your time to listen to my answers to your questions. Thank you for your help during the subject.
This is a demonstration of Flip4Mac.